Lampor is one of the myths that is quite famous among Javanese people, especially in Central Java and East Java. This supernatural phenomenon is often associated with the appearance of a flying coffin, which is said to bring bad omens. Although its existence is still debated, the story of Lampor has become part of the cultural wealth and beliefs of the Indonesian people. Lampor comes from the Old Javanese word Lampor, which means wandering or traveling. According to the Great Dictionary of the Indonesian Language, KBBI, Lampor is defined as a spirit that parades or walks in line. In Javanese beliefs, Lampor is described as a supernatural phenomenon in the form of a flying coffin at night. The origins of the Lampor myth itself can be traced back to the 1960s in East Java and Central Java. At that time, the appearance of Lampor was often associated with the occurrence of disease outbreaks and mass deaths in an area. People believe that Lampor is a sign of impending disaster. Some versions of the story say that the Lampor is part of the magical army of Nyai Roro Kidul, the ruler of the South Sea in Javanese mythology. The flying coffin is said to be blown by the wind from the South Sea and passes over residential areas. Another version says that the Lampor is the incarnation of the devil who carries a coffin to search for victims at night. Although there are various versions of the story, some of the characteristics that are often associated with the Lampor phenomenon include: 1. Appears at night, especially towards midnight. 2. In the form of a coffin flying or floating in the air, often accompanied by strange or noisy sounds. 3. Sometimes seen as a floating light or fireball, appears along with strong gusts of wind, passes over people's houses. Some eyewitnesses claim to have seen the appearance of the Lampor as a flying coffin circling above the settlement. Some also describe it as black smoke in the form of. The Lampor myth has been deeply rooted in the beliefs of some Javanese people. Some common beliefs related to this phenomenon include: Lampor is considered a sign of impending disaster, disease outbreak, or mass death. People who see Lampor are believed to experience bad luck, sudden illness, or even death. Lampor can kidnap people and take them away. Especially children who play outside the house at night. Houses passed by Lampor are believed to experience disaster. Lampor has a weakness, namely not being able to sit or squat. The appearance of Lampor can be prevented by ringing the gong or making a loud noise. These beliefs make some people very alert to the possibility of Lampor appearing, especially during disease outbreaks or disasters. To prevent or expel Lampor, several areas in Java have special traditions and rituals, including playing kentengan or traditional musical instruments together, holding pengajian or talalan, making sayur loda with 7 kinds of ingredients, each of which has a symbolic meaning, placing certain objects in front of the house such as an inverted broomstick or scissors, reading special prayers or mantras, performing a ritual to ward off disaster. SA traditions reflect the community's efforts to protect themselves from supernatural threats that are believed to endanger their safety. Although their effectiveness cannot be scientifically proven, these rituals are still carried out as a form of local wisdom and an effort to maintain harmony with the supernatural world.
Let me tell you about a girl's experience. Name is Rena. I want to tell you about something that until now still haunts my mind. A few years ago, I moved to a small village on the outskirts of the city. The village was quiet, deserted, and far from the hustle and bustle of big city life. I lived alone in a rented house that, people said, had been empty for a long time. First, everything felt normal. I experienced a night that I will never forget. Friday night, that time. I had just come home from one of my students' houses. It was almost 11 o'clock at night. The night air felt cold. My steps were getting faster. I wanted to get home soon. But, in the midst of that silence, I began to hear the sound of gamelan, soft, faint, like the sound that is usually heard when someone dies. I looked back. The street was quiet. No one was there. I kept walking, but the sound of the gamelan became clearer, closer. I began to feel afraid. My steps became faster, but the sound still followed me, and suddenly, from a distance, I saw it, rear, floating in the air. No one was carrying it. A coffin moved slowly towards me. Panic. I ran as fast as I could towards the house, but the sound of the gamelan kept following me. I didn't dare to look back. I just wanted to get there quickly and lock myself inside the house. When I got home, I immediately closed the door, locked it tightly, closed all the windows, and turned on all the lights. I tried to calm myself, tried to convince myself that maybe I was just tired, just a hallucination. But a few minutes later, there was a knock on the front door. Slowly talk. My heart was pounding. I dared to ask, who's outside? There was no answer, only the knocking that kept on sounding, getting louder. I peeked through the gap in the window. I saw it. The coffin was in front of my door, silent, as if waiting for me. I stepped back. My body was shaking. The knocking slowly stopped, but then I heard a voice, a deep voice calling my name. Rina, open. I've been waiting for you for a long time. The voice sounded very close, but I didn't recognize the voice. I read a prayer, hoping that all of this would end soon. A few minutes passed. I thought it was all over. I peeked again, and the coffin was gone. But when I turned around, froze. The coffin was in my living room, right in front of me. The white cloth on it slowly lifted, and I saw a pale figure with wide eyes staring at me intently. His lips moved slowly, and he said, "Rina, I've been waiting for you. Now, come with me." I screamed, and after that, everything went dark. When I woke up, I was already at my neighbor's house. They found me unconscious in the living room. After I told my story, I said, "The flying coffin has often appeared in this village. It is said that the coffin likes to pick up chosen people to be friends in the afterlife. Till now, every Friday night, I still often hear the faint sound of gamelan from a distance. Maybe I am not completely free from it."
The following story is very scary, isn't it?
If you don't want this ghost to come to your house, you are advised to subscribe.